I've been walking for 38 years. Not continuously, of course. I stop for coffee, for sleep, for the occasional existential crisis. But walking, in one form or another, has been my primary mode of existence since I was 20. And you know what I've discovered? I haven't gone anywhere. Oh, I've covered distance, thousands of miles. I've walked through 17 countries, across deserts and mountains, through cities that sprawl like organisms and villages that fit in your peripheral vision. My boots have worn through, been replaced, worn through again. But arrival, that mythical moment when you reach the destination and everything clicks into place, that's the great lie we tell ourselves to justify the exhaustion. We're obsessed with getting somewhere. From childhood, we're taught this narrative. Life is a journey from point A to point B. You start ignorant, you end wise. You begin flawed, you become perfected. Birth to death, with a straight line connecting them, and somewhere along that line, if you work hard enough, if you're good enough, you'll arrive at the place where everything makes sense. But what if that's not how it works? What if point A and point B are the same point? What if the snake has always been eating its own tail? The ancient symbol of the Ouroboros, the serpent consuming itself, wasn't just mystical decoration. It was a philosophical statement. The end is in the beginning, and the beginning never ended. You're not going anywhere because you're already there. The destination you're walking toward is the same ground you're standing on right now, and that terrifies us. Because if we're already here, then what the hell have we been doing? Picture this. You're on an escalator walking upward with determination. You're making progress. You can feel your legs working, see the steps passing beneath you. But the escalator is moving downward. For every 2 steps you climb, you descend 1.5. You're moving, absolutely, but you're not getting anywhere. Now here's the question that matters. Are you aware the escalator is moving in the opposite direction? Or do you believe, genuinely believe, that you're ascending? Most of us spend our lives on that escalator, convinced we're climbing. We pursue self-improvement like it's a mountain with a summit. We read the books, attend the workshops, meditate, journal, optimize. We're becoming better versions of ourselves. We're evolving. We're growing. We're getting closer to what exactly? The person we're supposed to be. The enlightened self, the actualized human. Point B. But here's what nobody tells you, that person you're trying to become. You already are that person. You've always been that person. The better version of yourself isn't waiting at the top of the escalator. It's the one walking on it right now, exhausting itself in the pursuit of itself. I spent my 30s convinced I was broken and needed fixing. I had this image in my mind, Adrian Vale, the complete version. Wise, unshakable, free from doubt and fear. I thought if I just read enough philosophy, walked enough miles, sat in enough silence, I'd eventually arrive at him. That complete Adrian was waiting for me at point B, and current Adrian was just the rough draft. Then one morning in a cafe in Prague, drinking terrible coffee and watching pigeons fight over a croissant, it hit me. I was waiting to become someone I already was. The wisdom I was seeking wasn't hidden at the end of some arduous journey. It was in the seeking itself. The peace I was chasing wasn't a destination. It was the ground I'd been standing on the entire time, too busy running to notice. The Ouroboros doesn't eat its tail because it's hungry. It eats its tail because the tail is the head. and the head is the tail, and the whole damn thing is one continuous loop with no beginning and no end. We live in a culture addicted to becoming. Be better, do more, optimize your morning routine, hack your productivity, upgrade your consciousness. It's exhausting, isn't it? This constant pressure to transform into something other than what you are right now. And it's profitable. The self-improvement industry is worth billions because it's built on a brilliant lie. You're not enough as you are, but you could be if you just buy this book, this course, this system. Point B is just around the corner. Keep walking, keep paying. But what if the entire framework is wrong? What if there is no point B? What if becoming is just a story we tell ourselves to avoid the uncomfortable truth of being? The Buddha sat under a tree and became enlightened, right? That's the story we tell. But what did enlightenment mean? It meant he stopped trying to become enlightened. He realized he was already awake. He'd just been dreaming that he wasn't. The journey to enlightenment was the obstacle to enlightenment. You see this pattern everywhere once you start looking. The mystics, the philosophers, the poets, they all arrive at the same paradox. Lao Tzu, the way that can be walked is not the eternal way. Meister Eckhart, God is at home. It is we who have gone out for a walk. T.S. Eliot, we shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Point A and point Omega aren't different locations. They're the same location, seen with different eyes. I'm 58 years old. I've spent most of my adult life walking, thinking, searching. And you know what I've found? Nothing I didn't already have. But that's not a tragedy. That's the whole point. The search wasn't about finding something new. It was about recognizing what was already there. You're not broken. You don't need fixing. You're not incomplete. You don't need completing. You're not on your way to becoming who you're meant to be. You already are who you're meant to be, right now, in this moment, with all your flaws and doubts and contradictions. The person you're trying to become is the person you are, trying to become the person you are. It's a loop. It's always been a loop. So if life isn't a journey from A to B, if we're just walking in circles, doesn't that make everything meaningless? If there's nowhere to go, why go anywhere? If there's nothing to become, why try to change? If we're already at the destination, why not just stop? That's the wrong question. Or rather, it's a question that still assumes the linear framework. It assumes that meaning comes from progress, from getting somewhere, from achieving some final state. But what if meaning doesn't come from the destination? What if it comes from the walking itself? The Ouroboros isn't a symbol of futility. It's a symbol of completeness. The snake eating its tail isn't trapped. It's self-sustaining. It's whole. It doesn't need anything outside itself because everything it needs is already contained within the circle. When you let go of the idea that you're supposed to be getting somewhere, something remarkable happens. You start noticing where you are. The pressure to become dissolves, and you're left with being. And being, it turns out, is enough. I'm not saying don't grow. I'm not saying don't change. Change is inevitable. You're changing right now, listening to this. Cells dying and being born. Thoughts forming and dissolving. But there's a difference between organic change and forced becoming. There's a difference between growing like a tree grows, naturally, without agenda, and trying to sculpt yourself into some ideal image. The tree doesn't have a point B. It doesn't wake up thinking, "Today I need to be more tree-like." It just is what it is, and in being what it is, it becomes what it becomes. When I stopped trying to arrive somewhere, I started actually living. The walks became walks, not missions. Conversations became conversations, not opportunities for growth. Silence became silence, not a tool for enlightenment. And paradoxically, or maybe not paradoxically at all, that's when things actually started to shift. Not because I was trying to shift them, but because I stopped trying. The Taoists call it Wu Wei, action through non-action. Not passivity, but alignment. Not forcing, but allowing. The river doesn't try to reach the ocean, it just flows, and the flowing is the reaching. So where does that leave us? If point A is point omega, if the journey is circular, if we're already who we're trying to become, what do we do? How do we live? We walk. Not towards something, but as something. We walk because walking is what humans do. We think because thinking is what minds do. We change because changing is what living things do. But we stop pretending it's all leading somewhere other than here. Every moment is both the beginning and the end. Every step is both departure and arrival. You're always at point A, and you're always at point omega, because they're the same point, seen from different angles. This isn't nihilism, it's not resignation, it's liberation. When you're not trying to get somewhere, you can actually be where you are. When you're not trying to become someone, you can actually be who you are. And who you are right now is enough. Not enough as a starting point for something better. Just enough. Complete. Whole. Here's the secret they don't tell you in the self-help books. You're not on a journey to find yourself. You're the journey. You're not searching for meaning. You're the search and the meaning and the finding. The snake isn't eating its tail to get somewhere. It's eating its tail because that's what it is. A circle, complete, self-contained, whole. I'm 58 years old, and I've been walking for 38 years. I haven't arrived anywhere. I've just been here, in different forms, in different places, but always here, always now, always this. And you? You're here too. You've always been here. You'll always be here. Point A, point B, point omega. They're all the same point, and that point is now. So stop trying to get somewhere. Stop trying to become someone. You're already there. You're already that. The walk isn't taking you anywhere. The walk is where you are. The Ouroboros doesn't need to complete its circle. The circle is already complete. It always has been. And so are you. See you on the path, or rather, see you as the path. Because that's what we are. That's what we've always been.